Hey, basketball coaches and basketball players, my name is Alan from Al's Basketball Training, and today I'm going to talk to you about some fantastic, fun basketball dribbling drills that you can run with your basketball team. So, first off, I would like to say we're going to start with a game that is very easy to learn, but also a lot of fun, but generally only works if you're coaching a younger team, generally 10 or 11 years old or younger. But the other drills I will be talking about today are going to be not just for the young age group, but for older age groups as well. So let's get down to the clipboard. Let's check these out. Okay, so what we're going to have is, obviously I have 5 players here. However, you can have as many players as you would like. Every single player has a basketball, and what we are going to do, we can start inside of the 3-point line, and this is what I like to call Dribble Tag. You probably have seen this before. If you have not, this is a really fun game. So basically, every single player is trying to protect their ball while dribbling. They're not allowed to pick it up. They're not allowed to double dribble. No traveling, so on and so forth. And they have to stay within the boundaries. So that's the boundaries to start. Now, let's say player 2 hits player 4's ball outside of the boundaries. That means player 4 is out. And meanwhile, all the other players are trying to hit each other's basketballs out of the boundaries. Once we get down to a couple of players, we can move the boundaries inside of the key. And then we can slowly, progressively get the distance of their surroundings or their perimeter of where they're able to play, their boundaries, a little bit tighter. So once we're down to about 2 players, I generally put it down to the circle that is in the key. But if this still seems to take a long time to go, I usually put them in the half circle, just because we don't want to have all the players standing around the outside doing nothing while these 2 are just, trying to win. So I usually give them about 2 minutes, and if they can't knock the other player's ball out, I'll count down from 10. That usually hurries them up and starts making them go on the offense, and usually 1 player wins. Now, another game I like to play is, actually, we'll get a different color on there. So, another game I like to play is I will have a lineup of players over here, and we'll have another lineup of players over here. And I'm going to give them the size of the key. That's going to be their boundaries. And we're going to go 1-on-1. And essentially what we're going to try and do is have the red team try and dribble past the blue team. It's going to be 1-on-1, so player 5 red is going to try and beat player 5 blue past that side of the key. And then that way, if you have 12 players, you could say, okay, well, 6 players down on one side of the half, 6 players on the other side, and then you kind of keep on going back and forth. So once player 5 red gets through, player 5 blue gets that ball, and he goes in the back of this line. Player 5 red goes in the back of that line. And you can continue playing this through. This is a fun drill to do, and it's going to teach them not just the offensive dribbling drills, but also the ability to play defense in a confined spot. Like if they're in a maybe 2 or 3 seconds left in the game, they're trying to make it so that it's really hard for that dribbling player to be able to dribble, and obviously in the short clock he's not going to have a lot of space to be able to get up a shot, so that defensive player has to be really tight. So even though this is a dribbling drill, I like to also think of it as a defensive drill. Now, going with the defensive side of things, really quickly, go check out my defense books in the link in the description below. So this next drill is a Zig Zag style drill. However, I've put a little bit of a offensive component into this. So I'll have players lined up on this side of the court. I'll also have some players lined up on the other side. And these players, if you want, you can have pylons marking off the width of the key all the way to half court. It's totally up to you. However, what we are looking to do here, and this is a drill that's going to be teaching them not just the dribbling aspect, not just the offensive aspect, but also the defensive aspect. I am a huge defensive-minded coach. As you can tell, I've wrote 2 books. But anyways, what we're going to have is these 2 players running a zigzag style drill, but that's at least the easiest way to get down to half. And they don't have to go right to the line. They could go halfway in between, and player 3 could get by. Now, if player 3 blue gets by and he touches half court, he is on offense, player 3 is on red defense, and player 3 blue is going to try and score, but he has to stay within those lines. Next, if player 3 blue was going down and player 3 red stole that ball, player 3 red doesn't have to go and touch half. He just needs to go and attack player 3 blue so that now he is on offense. Now, what we're looking to see here is how fast can player 3 transition into defense, but also we don't want him to turn over the ball. So what we're going to be doing here is if the offensive player turns over the ball, obviously it's going to be a turnover. However, what I like to have my players do in that case is to do maybe a couple of sit-ups, some push-ups, some planks, some squat jumps, whatever it may be. But we really want to teach our players to not turn over the ball, and so that now we can maybe correct what he's been doing. So if he showed the ball too far, we can explain that to him. And instead of just running a punishment to say, hey, you suck, you're doing some push-ups, we don't want to give that kind of an impression. What we want to do is say, okay, well, there's 5 push-ups. Now, what you did do is when you crossed over the ball, you brought it too far ahead of you, and that's why he was able to steal it. So if you're able to cross over the ball and turn your body at the same time to shield and have your left arm, let's say, for example, in between your defender and that ball, it's going to allow you not to turn over that ball. So we just basically correct things at the same time, and that way the player is able to correct things on the go. And by teaching the players that, hey, we're in your corner and we're able to correct you in practice, when we go to them in game and say, hey, well, this is what we need you to do, they don't get all uptight and upset that we're correcting them in the middle of the game, because now they're used to being corrected in practice, so that now when it comes to the game, they're not upset. Anyways, that's how I feel about how to correct players. Anyways, that's my own strategy and philosophy. But anyways, I hope that you have enjoyed today's video. If you have, hit that like button, subscribe, go check out those 2 books. I hope that you're being nice and safe and staying away from people with this coronavirus, because it is a very horrible virus. So make sure to wash those hands every time you get inside the house, and I'll see you guys again later on today for the second video of the day. By the way, Tuesday, March something. Tuesday, March the 24th, 1:00 p.m. Eastern Time, live basketball training session with myself on this channel. So 1 p.m. Eastern Time, which is Toronto, Ontario time. I'll see you guys there as well.